City, where the Bears are at home. They are favored by 1.5, hosting my Green Bay Packers. Where are you going with this one, John?
I'm going with the Packers. I feel like the line's generous. Once again, if we're going based on the 3 points is kind of what they give the home team, then they're saying a neutral field, Packers are better by 1.5 points. I think this is maybe a little bit of this is caked into Aaron Rodgers is gone, a lot of hype around Justin Fields, but I'm just not quite sure either team has gone that far in the direction that I think maybe the casual better is saying of Packers are that much worse or the Bears are that much better. So I'm taking Green Bay here. I think they win this game. I don't know by how much, but I think they win it. Just because I still think that LaFleur is like a really great coach, and I think that he's going to be able to effectively use Christian Watson, A.J. Dillon, Aaron Jones, and all these kind of guys in this game to, against the Chicago defense that has good pieces, but isn't necessarily like one of the stalwart Chicago defenses of old. So I don't know. I think that there's a path for Green Bay to have success, and I also think that I still have a lot of question marks about Chicago's offensive line, their run game, even how does the weapons system, their weapons work, because Chase Claypool was a little rocky last year. Darnell Mooney was, he was good sometimes, but who knows? And then DJ Moore, it's going to be his first game with his new quarterback. I don't know. I could just see a world where, Justin Fields is having to run for his life a lot, and maybe Green Bay is just prepared for that, and they can come out and they can control the clock on the other end and do some damage. So I'm going to take the Packers. I'm putting 70 on them. I don't feel as confident. It is in Chicago. Justin Fields' ability to just make big plays could get scary. I mean, he's shown the capability of running for like a 70-yard touchdown in the past. And the man who did own, he has the deed to the Chicago Bears, is unfortunately not there anymore. So you never know. But like I said, I'm taking Green Bay, but I'm only putting 70.
I am also taking my Packers. I'm going 50. Many of the reasons that you said are why. Just for the Bears is one of those where I gotta see it to believe it, and I am at least confident that Jordan Love can come to this game and make good decisions, and we'll see. And like you said, not entirely scared by the Bears defense. And the big question will be is just Packers defense versus the Bears offense. Can they contain Justin Fields? Can the Packers defense kind of step up and be what it was expected to be last year? Can they do it this year, especially since invested another first-round pick into the defense and Lucas Van Ness and getting Rashawn Gary back? So the excuses will be limited, and I wouldn't be shocked if Joe Barry and the gang specifically make a point to come out strong in Week 1 against the Bears. But it'll be very interesting with the weapons they have and see what Chicago does offensively. So that's what scared me down to 50, but be exciting nonetheless. Go to the later afternoon games, which we're going to start with Denver. They are at home. New coach Sean Payton, his debut, regular season debut, as they're at home, favored by 4.5, hosting the divisional rivals in the Las Vegas Raiders with their new quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. So how do you see this one playing out, John, and for how much?
Quite frankly, I legitimately have no clue what is going to happen in this game. I'm taking Denver because I believe in Sean Payton, but that's it. I'm putting 10 on this. I'm putting 10 points on Denver because I'm not messing with this one.
Yeah, I was very tempted to put 10. I put 50, so I was right there with you. But just how the rest of my Week 1 played out, this was 50 what was left for this. I'm going with the Raiders, though. I just got to kind of see with Russell to believe it, to see that it doesn't help that. Let me double check. I'm sure Jerry Jeudy was dealing with that injury, so their receiving core is already... Sorry. Denver Broncos. So he's, as of right now, still questionable. But, who knows with hamstrings. I think so. That does concern me. And for the Raiders, I just feel like, especially with Jimmy G, he's finally going to get all out his own team, even though many believe they will be moving on soon. But back with Josh McDaniels, I just feel like the Raiders will have something to prove offensively, and I'm just not sure. I'm not confident in Denver's offense just yet. And once again, I don't know where we're going to get out of Devontae Williams. So will they even be able to lean on him if they have to? I'm not sure. So yeah, like you mentioned, I'm playing this one a little scared too. I'm only going 50, but I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders to at least keep it close because once again, 4.5 points is a lot. So I think at least be a close game. Wouldn't be shocked if the Raiders do pull off the upset. But nonetheless, I'll take the points for 50 on myself. So difference there. Got another interesting one here for the next game, which is the Philadelphia Eagles. They are favored by 3.5 going to Foxborough to play, obviously, the New England Patriots. So how do you see this one playing out and for how much, John?
This is another game that, like, my brain says to go Philadelphia because they're, like, one of the best teams in the NFL. But my gut says, like, Bill Belichick has had 3 months to prepare for them. Maybe he gets a little spicy and is able to do something against him. I don't know. So I'm taking the Patriots, but I'm only putting 10 points. Once again, I feel zero confidence in that, and I am putting 10 points on the Patriots.
Minimum. So, like, John's just, that's it. I hear it.
Yeah.
I'm going with Philadelphia. I'm going for 100, so standard. I'm just not very confident in the Patriots offense, especially their weapons. Got to kind of see it to believe it again. Even if Philly's linebackers and safeties, are having issues, like we know their front four is really good. They still have those two corners and Slay and Bradbury. I don't expect to have any issues in regards to who's in front of them for New England, whether it be Devontae Parker or I'm trying to remember even who's the second stringer right now. Is it probably Demario Douglas or some, or is it
for the receivers?
Kendrick Bourne probably the second receiver?
Yeah, they got Bourne. They got the rookie Kayshawn Bouillet. I can't remember how to say his name. Taekwon Thornton, but I think he's dealing with some injuries
I put him
right
in
now.
IR in our fantasy league.
Yeah,
because he was on IR.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's just a lot of young guys, and then Kendrick Bourne, who's a veteran.
Yeah,
at this
so I feel like Philly, with their size and their D line, going to slow down New England's run game and just make life difficult in the pass game. So that's why I feel more confident in Philadelphia as opposed to New England. But yeah, I mean, hey, if it works out for you, I wouldn't be shocked. That's why I didn't put more, but I also didn't put less because, like I said, just not confident in New England's wide receivers, and it's a passing league. Like that's just kind of the plain fact. So for me, that is that. Though will be interesting the Bill Belichick Jalen Hurts matchup. I think that's what you mentioned. What will he throw at them, and how will Jalen Hurts be able to respond? So that'll be fun. Now we go to another fun one. This is, this will be fun in regards to like social media, Twitter wise, because it is 2-on and the going against the LA Chargers. The Chargers are favored here, probably because they're at home. Once again, air quotes are on home because the LA Chargers have had issues with that. In regards to their fans, they are favored by 2.5, hosting the Dolphins. Obviously, for the Dolphins, no Jalen Ramsey here as he got injured earlier. For the Chargers, seems like they'll be fully healthy. I mean, main core wise, what are your thoughts on this one and why?
Sorry, hold on. What'd you say real quick?
I was throwing it to you for Chargers and Dolphins. What's your pick and how much?
Yeah, sorry, I was distracted texting someone over on the side here about the travel stuff that's coming up. Anyway, man, Chargers Dolphins is a hell of a matchup. I don't know how you felt about all the week 1 matchups. This is actually the game I'm the most excited for. I'm really excited to see this game. It's just, the whole Justin Herbert Tua comparisons that always get brought up because of the draft, and the Tua goes before Herbert, and then the stuff with the coach, he said he wanted Herbert, and so all that stuff on top of the fact that we're getting to see the Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. Like there's just some Austin Eckler, some great weapons in this game, and I think this is going to be a really exciting one. And for that reason, I am taking the Miami Dolphins. Honestly, this one kind of pains me because I really like the Chargers. Like, I wouldn't say that I am a Chargers fan, but I really like the Chargers. And I don't know. I'm not the biggest believer in Tua and the Dolphins. That said, I still just got concerns about Brandon Staley's defense and their ability to stop the run. Although I'm not super confident in any of the Dolphins running backs, I do think that the stable of them can do a lot of damage. And so I just have to kind of wait and see what happens with the Chargers run defense. And also, with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they're one play away from taking something to the house. And so I'm going with Miami here. Honestly, I'm saying they win this game. That said, another game where I'm only putting 10 on it. Don't feel confident at all in that one because, like I said, my heart says to go with the Chargers. Even part of my brain says to go with the Chargers. But for some reason, my gut is saying the Miami Dolphins, and so I'm going to take them. Also, just side thing that I don't think really anybody's going to talk about, but I'm very interested to see Vic Fangio as now, he's on the Dolphins as the defensive coordinator, and he's like the mentor of Brandon Staley. So I'm wondering if we're going to see maybe any specific wrinkles in the Dolphins offense. I would assume specifically in the second half that maybe Fangio could give, McDaniels a little tip, and he's like, hey, this is what Staley's kind of doing. Because, Staley, he learned a lot of the tools of the trade from Vic Fangio. So just interesting to see. I don't know how much goes on behind the scenes in that regard when it comes to the defensive coordinator giving insight to any of the offensive people. But yeah, I'm very interested to see that little nuance to this game. But yeah, I'm taking the Miami Dolphins, but I have no confidence, so I'm putting 10.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. That's a tricky aspect, the Fangio, because last year, remember, these two teams did play off late in the season. Chargers did win, and granted, different defense. Chargers were very aggressive last year, so it kind of played into the Chargers' hands, I feel like, a little bit. But nonetheless, I'm going with the Chargers for the standard 100. The loss of Ramsey hurts, and I think, especially in critical situations, I think the Chargers' offensive line, granted, if they stay healthy for this game, can hold off the Dolphins and their pass rush. And we all know Herbert is great at staying in there and delivering under pressure. And with the healthy Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and I'm anticipating some new wrinkles on their offense from Kellen Moore, maybe involving Eckler. I don't know. I expect to be a different offense than they were last year. Maybe a little more playing through Justin Herbert, which I don't mind. And on the flip side, I'm gonna
say I hope that happens, just because I got Herbert in literally every single fantasy league I could have.
Yeah, so. And then on the flip side, once again, I'm just referencing that game last year. I know it was last year, but the Chargers were the team that kind of showed teams kind of how you can give the Dolphins problems by pressing and such. And they will have a healthy pass rush in terms of Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. And if there's a question mark to the Dolphins offense, it's that offensive line. And I'm just not sure that offensive line will be able to handle the pass rush. And then also, I'm not confident that they can take advantage of the Chargers' weakness in regards to the run defense, especially in regards to the O-line and even, schematically. And so I'm with you. It was a tough one. Obviously, I'm going standard 100. I just got a feeling. I feel like the Chargers is one of those things where, yes, the Dolphins are more talented, but I just feel like the Chargers are one of those teams that might have the Dolphins number here. And but we'll have to see. Be a very interesting matchup of the minds, and schematically, though, like you mentioned, for these two teams. So that is an exciting one to watch. Staying on the... Go ahead.
I'll say this, too. Just, I don't know how you feel. If, over the years, have you always had, that team in the AFC that you're kind of like, that's the team I kind of want to see go, because obviously, our teams are in the NFC. I always kind of have a team in the AFC that I'm like, I like those guys. I would like to see them have success. The Chargers are kind of that team for me recently, and so I don't know. I'd love to see myself be wrong here because, like I said, if there's any team that I could see have success, I'd like to see it be the Chargers out of the AFC at least as of right now. It always changes over the years, just based on certain players or certain whatever, So just because as an NFC fan of the Cowboys, I never have to worry about some of those AFC teams unless the Cowboys were to make the Super Bowl, which in my lifetime I've never had to worry about. So
I had it for Josh, for the Bills, kind of Josh Allen, the Bills. I'm okay, I like to see them succeed. So yeah, and I understand it. Herbert's the guy that we both were high on, and obviously that's the whole spark of that kind of little rivalry is because it's 2-on versus the Justin Herbert believers, and
yeah.
I'm not gonna say who's winning, but anyways,
We know
Yes, we know he's winning.
Come on. Come on.
Listen, until he got his contract. I forgot. So yeah, I mean, there you go. You want to talk about how much they believe in him money wise?
He's big paid.
Yeah, good for him. So that is Chargers Dolphins. We'll see. Can't wait for 2-on to come at us for win or lose, because you know that they will. Especially the one 2-on member we know. Now we go to staying on the West Coast. We're going to Seattle, to the Seahawks, where they are at home. They are favored by 5.5, hosting the LA Rams. As of right now, Cooper Kupp is questionable for the Rams with a bulky hamstring he's been dealing with. So that's big news, or potential, game shaking. Nonetheless, though, John, how do you feel about this one, and how much?
The Rams are, we talked about it with the offseason stuff, and the Rams are they're down bad. Apparently Cooper Kupp hit a snag with the recovery, and so there's a risk that he doesn't even play in this game. It's just really hard to really believe in the Rams. I mean, come on, if Cooper Kupp doesn't play, you're telling me that Matthew Stafford, who also is coming off an injury, is going to have to throw to Van Jefferson, Ben Skoranek, Tyler Higbee, and Tutu Atwell. Like, that's the weapons they got with a depleted offensive line, with Cam Akers, who still is a little bit, overall questionable as to how he'll look this year, a year removed from the Achilles tear. It's just, there's a lot of question marks, man, about the Rams. And so it feels like this is the most slam dunk pick. I'm surprised it's 5.5. I wonder if the line moves, if, what it would move to if Cooper Kupp officially gets ruled out, because the report of that literally just happened today. And so I don't know if the line is really adjusted yet, because once again, we're recording this early. This is like, we're more than a week away from this game happening. So I could see over this week, the line may be moving significantly, like 2 or 3 points, potentially Seattle's way, because I think Cooper Kupp is worth that much considering the state of this Rams team. So I'm taking Seattle. I'm going 200. It's my biggest bet, tied with, the Falcons and the Bengals earlier. I'm still not going all in on it, just because with the week one, I'm still scared about every game and me talking all this trash about the Rams. And then they come out and it's like, oh, wow, all these guys that they've drafted in the 5th round have actually really developed. And, maybe they surprise some people. But yeah, this just feels like it's going to be a rough game for the Rams. It's also in Seattle, which is scary. I'm taking Seattle, and I feel pretty confident about it.
I too am taking Seattle, and this is my big bet of the week, because I'm going 540. I'm putting, I have, especially with Cooper Kupp. You mentioned that, even if he is there, once again, it just feels like Seattle. Okay, we're gonna try to double him and take him away and make life okay. Matthew Stafford, and you already mentioned. Who are you going to throw to then? Who's really going to beat us? In terms of one-on-ones, we know that Seattle defense should get better. No Jamal Adams as well for them for week one, it's seeming like. So, but nonetheless, the defense was improved last year. And on the flip side, I am a little worried, of course, about Aaron Donald. You never know, especially that Seattle line. The inside is still a relative question mark. But nonetheless, with all the weapons they have in the running and passing game, and I think this Rams team is too talent depleted, especially for week one. Too talent depleted to kind of hang with the Seahawks. And like you mentioned, at Seattle, we remember it was week one last year, right, when they beat the Broncos, or was that week 3?
No, I think it was
week
week one, and it was like the whole botched field goal stuff that happened or whatever when they went out for a super long field goal.
So I mean, we saw them kind of come out with some attitude and dominate. Then I expect Pete Carroll running around doing. I'm sure you saw that clip of him running around throwing the ball. I just expect Seattle to come out hot and take care of business, and kind of make their statement against the Rams, who have kind of. But obviously the Rams won Super Bowl recently, so I'm sure that's extra motivation as well. So I'm with you. I believe more. That's what I saved all this money for, was for this one. So I got very strong feeling for Seattle against LA. So and John does too. It is technically it's tied for it's one of your max bets. So that you have for highest ones. So we are very confident in the Seahawks over the Rams.